That's it. Good evening, everyone. So on tonight's webinar, we will be discussing buying, selling, and stop losses of your longer term shares. In the future, we will be doing some shorter term shares, so that's fine. So you will see that I'm already logged in. Let's say I want to go and buy a specific share. I'm going to go through the whole process with you guys. We'll look if there's a possible share to buy, and then I'll buy it. If not, I will buy any share, even though it's not the correct time. As in the previous webinar of Rudy, you will also remember that there's specific times to buy a share, and according to that, we must make sure that we buy at exactly the right time. So I'm just quickly going to adjust my screen so that it looks a bit better. Okay. So you will note that I have about 4 shares here. SAPI is one of the winning shares lists that has been listed by the guru. So let's go and have a look at SAPI. So I'm going to open it up. I'm going to go chart IQ. So as I can currently see, SAPI is in a nice upwards trend, but currently on the RSI and the stochastic, it's both busy going down. Let's look at Mondi, MNP. Mondi also has a nice upward trend, but again, if I look at my RSI and stochastic, it's already too high to buy into. It's busy coming down. Sibanye Stillwater isn't really a share to be worth looking at now, but it is crossing to show a bit of an upward trend. Then BIT, BID, it's also busy coming down. It should be a buy in the next few days. So what I am going to do is I'm going to go to the additional advisors. I'll be inserting my long and I'll be inserting my stochastic. And underneath my long and buy, I will be inserting greater than 100,000, and underneath my volume, underneath my volume, I will be inserting 100,000 greater than, and underneath long and stochastic, I would insert a buy. So if we look here, there's a few shares here that possibly looks like a buy, but as in last week's video, I know immediately that DSY and MNP won't be a share worth looking at. And I can go and have a look at Sanlam, but Sanlam has a bit of a downward trend currently. Yeah, you see Sanlam is busy coming down at this stage. And also note that about from here, Sanlam has been in a bearish trend. And so let me quickly work through these shares, and then we can go and have a look together. So Togo-san could be a possible share, but if I look at it, my stochastics lines looks like it's busy getting closer together. So at this point, I won't really buy Togo-san. If I look at REN, that could be a possible buy, but there's not really much movement. The only movement it had was since February. It jumped up until end of March, and then it went into a bearish trend. And I can also see that before that, it was sideways for quite some time. So that for long-term share, that won't be one to look at. Then MRP, it's Mr. Price. Mr. Price is in a bit of a bearish trend ever since the beginning of March. It's been going down all the way, so not really one to look at right now. Exaru. It's EXX. Exaru is also one that came down quite bad. But again, if I look at it, it's not really a buying point right now. It's still busy going down. Sanlam we looked at. Let's look at IPL. That's Imperial Logistics. IPL. IPL, my stochastic turned to show it's going down, but then again, if I look at my RSI, it's showing a possible upwards trend. So I would then rather wait for my stochastic to show the upwards trend before buying into this share. If I do buy into that share, because if I look at my moving average, it's more or less sideways. Discovery, I'm not going to look at. Naspers, I'm not going to look at. LTE, Lighthouse. This one is busy going up, even though my moving average is coming down quite a bit. So that would indicate a bit of a problem. But I can see that from there, the share went down up until about here when it started to recover and going up. And then the last one is QLT. QLT is in a nice upwards trend. My only concern for buying in tonight would be that point there. That's showing a downwards trend where my stochastic is showing an upwards trend. So it could indicate that the share is gonna come down soon. So like I said, there's not really a share. So what I'll do is I'll buy one off the watch list. Let's buy SAPI. So now I looked at the charts, for example, and it shows a buy. This one doesn't, but we'll use that as an example. So I'm going to click on buy shares. Then I would select my account. Now, for all my webinars, I am using the Karel account. And so I select my account. It gives me the share code. It gives me the company's name. It gives me the price that I'm buying at. That's your last traded price. It gives me the date. That is the day that you are opening the share. Okay, the day which you are buying. Max you can afford to buy is the money that's still left in your account to buy. Number of shares to trade. So how many shares do I want to buy? Now, the number of shares to trade will depend on where my break-even point is. We say that your break-even point must always be below 4%. The reason for that being is when I buy the share, I pay brokerage fees, or in other words, transaction fees. So for each time I buy a share and for each time I sell a share, I pay transaction fees. According to my transaction fees that I'm paying, I would then automatically be spending more than the share is worth. And because of that reason, I am going to start in a minus. That is where your break-even point comes in. Your break-even point shows you the percentage that you must grow more or less before making your money back. For example, if I buy one share, this means that SAPI must grow by 574.39% before I make my money back. Then I didn't make any profit yet. So I would then say, okay, 100 shares is a bit little. Let's go 120. I can see that's still little. 140, 150. Let's say I buy 160 shares. Puts my break-even point at 3.84% that I'm going to start in a minus with. Once the share has grown with 3.84%, I made my money back that I spent, and anything above that would be my profit. Now, I must insert a reason for buying the share. Your comments is very important. This allows the support technician to go and have a look at why did you buy the share. This must either be a fundamental reason or a technical reason. A technical reason refers to your charting. So what did I see on the graphs? For example, if the share showed a buy, I would say that the RSI and my stock shows buy. And I would also say that my share is in a bull trend. Then if I want to, I can extend that this is a winning shares list share. Okay. In other words, that's another reason why I looked at the share. That's all technical. Fundamental would be research. So I went onto the internet and I saw that Sappi is opening 10 more plants and they're hiring new people, and that's fundamental. So you did research, you saw the company is expanding, you saw these new job opportunities that could lead to possible growth in the share price, and I could buy in because of that reasons. Okay. It's just we need the reason so you can remember in, let's say, 6 months time from now on, why you bought the share. Or if you phone in and say, okay, so I bought Sappi on this date, but I'm not making any money. What did I do wrong? Then we can refer to your comments and see, okay, you went technical. Let's go and see whether your comment agrees with the chart on that specific date. Or, okay, you went fundamental, so you did research, you didn't look at your charts, and that's why you bought in. Then we get a bit of an understanding of why you bought the share, and then we can say, okay, so this is what you did, this is what went wrong, and for that reason, then we can assist you in saying, okay, so this is what we should have done with the share at that specific time. Okay, next up I have my total cost. So in other words, if I buy 160 Sappi shares at 47 Rand and 87 cents, it would cost me 7,815 Rand and 87 cents, which sounds a lot, but there's ways around that. We can use alternative platforms for longer term trading, like Easy Equities, which allows me to put in 500 Rand while keeping my break-even point below 4%. Okay, so the total cost, you don't really stress too much about that. Then I would say confirm buy. Next up, buy order confirmed window in the bottom will pop up. And then I know I successfully bought the share. So now I'm going to close this window. Automatically, Sappi will then be displayed here once it's been refreshed. So if I go to my dashboard and I go to my investment dashboard, and I select my Karel account, automatically there's Sappi. And as you would note, that was our break-even point more or less of 3.7%. So that is my percentage I'm starting in the minus with. Once I made up the 3.7%, anything above that would be my gains. Now I want to set up a stop loss on the share. So I would go action on the right hand side. And I would say set stop loss. So first of all, you have a target value. That is the percentage you want the share to grow positive before you think of selling the share. So normally you don't want to be too greedy. So we put in about 10%. If the share grows by more than 10%, that's good. I can still keep it afterwards. That's my decision. The stop loss, that is the percentage you want the share to go negative. Now remember, this is long-term trading. So if I buy the share, I would keep the share for at least 3 months before even thinking of selling it. So now I'm going to change that to 10%. The reason why I'm changing that to 10% is because it's longer term, I must give the share some room to go down. Sorry, to go down. And a share would usually stop and turn around before the 10% has been reached. If then I do reach my 10% stop loss, then I would look at selling the share because that could indicate a long-term drop. But it could also fall just below your 10% and then start climbing. That's a decision you have to make. Growth stop loss, that you usually leave at about 3%. It's just your first indication that your share is dropping. So this is like a trailing stop loss. It follows the share's current price. And from the current price, if it falls by 3%, it would let you know that, okay, listen here, it's time to sell the share. Next up, I would insert my cell phone number. And then I would say activate. And I would insert my intraday SMS. The reason why I do activate the intraday SMS is so that I can be notified during the course of the day what my share is doing. Now, I don't want to receive an SMS after trading hours that this is what your share is done for the day and that's the only SMS you get. Because if you reach your stop loss during the course of the day and you did not activate your intraday SMS alert, the system reads it as you don't want to be disturbed during the day with an SMS, and they will only send out that SMS in the evening for you when it's already late. Then I would say update values, and there would be 2 blocks that pops up. Then I know it's been successfully set it up. Now, let's look for a share to sell because that's the next thing. Okay, there's nothing there. Let's sell Vodacom. Okay, so I made 108 Rand on Vodacom. I'm going to climb out now. So then I'm going to click on action. And I'm going to say sell. Again, I get the account type. That's my Guru account. I get the share that I want to sell, the code. I get the company's name. I get my break-even price. In other words, that's the price I should have reached to make money. Last traded price is the current price. Date I'm selling the share. Now, number of shares to sell. In that block, it says you own 52 shares. So I can't go type in 53 because then it says sell exceeds available share quantity. In other words, you are trying to sell more than you have. So I must type in 52. Now I must insert a reason for selling the share. Why am I getting rid of the share? Okay, my reason would be so this would be a physical reason why you get rid of the share. Mine would be share made 1.69 percent growth. Okay, that would be my reason. Then it will tell, okay, this is my brokerage costs. So I am losing money here. I'm losing 30 Rand and 83 cents. How do I know that? By the amount that it's displaying there. Then I would say sell again. Then sell order confirmed. The wheel is turning. And if I go and click on my Guru account now, you would note that Vodacom is gone. Okay. So that was the session for tonight. If there is any questions, I will be answering them afterwards. To those of you who are going to leave the webinar, have a lovely evening further. We will then be discussing next week. I'm not too sure now. Next week we will be discussing SMS notifications. So be sure to join the SMS notifications, as we will be explaining all the SMSs that you do get from us and how to interpret them and how they work. And for those of you, like I said, who has questions, please do feel free to stay behind and ask them. I'll be answering questions now. Those of you who want to leave, enjoy the evening and be sure to join us next week again. Bye.